Welcome to HBRV Lifestyle, and I am the Honey Badger. And I took a nice drive up to the San Bernardino Mountains to go film what it looks like at Jenks Lake right now. If you don't know, for the last 2 years, Jenks Lake has been drying up. The flume / inlet has been blockaded, and water is just simply not getting to the lake. I'm walking down actually to the lake. Now, Jenks Lake, I've been coming here since I was a kid. Walking down to the lake right now, and it's absolutely gorgeous fall weather out here. Now, I have not been up here this year. I've been meaning to get up here to do filming for this lake. Just to give you an idea how important this lake is, this community has a ton of campgrounds, youth campgrounds. And without this lake, they don't have a place to do their canoeing, their fishing. So it's highly important that we make sure this lake is preserved, and it's going to be sad once you see how low it is. Even with all the progress that they have made, there's still more to go. Give you a little bit of history about the lake. Captain Lawrence Shaw Jenks thought this area looked like a good place for a trout pond. In the 1870s, he built an earthen and log dam and diverted water from the South Fork of the Santa Ana River. And the diversion ditch is about 1.5 miles long, but the legend says that Jenks dug at it by himself. There's snow already up here, which is a very positive sign for this lake, because as the snow melts, obviously it'll fill the lake a little bit better. But as you can tell at the pier right here, this is usually where I'm standing is still full of water. It's usually where a lot of the bass hang out, especially some of the larger ones. And if you look behind me, it would actually come up to this tree. This pier used to be one of the best fishing spots in the lake. Now, there's barely enough water to get up to the pier. And when you look over or look in the middle of the pier, you can actually see the very bottom of the lake. It just goes to show you how serious the situation really is. The wind is picking up a little bit, but as you can tell, nobody's on the pier even in the fall because there's no water really around. The water's not deep enough here for some of the bass or even the trout when they stock trout. It's actually very sad to see how dried up this lake is. I've been coming here since I was 3-4 years old. And I used to fish off of this pier with my dad and his friends and my mom. And it's just, to be honest, it's very sad to see how bad a shape this really is in. This usually is filled up to the brim with water all the way up to here. So normally when you came down those rocks over there, that's where you fished from. When you cast out any of your lines, you're just instantly reeling into a bunch of weeds. As I walk in the middle of the lake, or what most people would consider the middle of the lake, I am reminded of all the helicopters that used to drop down and scoop water to fight fires up in the mountainside, to fight fires for the mountain communities. So it's an important source of water for the firefighters, for fishermen, for recreation, for the economy of the local mountain communities. Right where those rocks are right there, that was the shore and the rest of it was the lake. I mean, look how far it drops off. That's I decided on this trip that I was going to walk the flume. Show you that there isn't much water flow going from the South Fork of the Santa Ana River into Jenks Lake. It's due to overgrowth, it's due to debris blockages, a lot of factors involved. Help the project out by hitting the like button so that way YouTube will spread this information to others.
Okay, we're hitting the little bridge. I used to cross this bridge and play around this area when I was a kid. But as you can tell, here we go. There's still some okay water flow. It's better than it was, but as you can tell, it dries up and blocks off as it goes down into the lake. Wow, much improved as we're going up. Realize this also has been a water source for a lot of animals, not just the lake, but the flume as well, or the inlet, if that's what you want to call it, because that's what I call it. But just imagine this. If this dries up, where are the animals going to go?
As I walked further up the flume, I was noticing the water flow was really not that strong. And I noticed myself that there was a lot of debris in a lot of these areas. So I decided to put the camera down, take off my jacket, and start clearing some stuff out.
So I just cleared out all that stuff right there. And look, the water's moving better. Let's see if we can clear out some more.
I want to give a big shout out to all the volunteers that have been helping clear out the flume, clear out the debris, cut back a lot of the overgrowth. They're just amazing people. Because at the end of the day, COVID really screwed things up when it came to the Forest Service. The Forest Service is undermanned, underfunded, and they're the ones at the end of the day that are mostly responsible to take care of this. But unfortunately, they don't have the manpower or the resources right now. So big shout out to volunteers. And if you guys want to know how you can do your part, in the description box below, I have put the Facebook group Friends of Jenks Lake, and they constantly give updates on that page.
I'm out here actually volunteering too. We've got this section of the flume cleared out, but there's a ton of work to do. Even I'm doing my part helping clearing it out. So that's the little stuff that these guys got to do to keep this flume open, because there's been so much debris and so much blockage for 2 years. That's going to take them some time. I am very passionate about this lake. It brings back such fond memories for me. And the most recent memories are watching my daughter Joanna and reeling her first trout and her first bass here at this lake, at Jenks Lake. My daughter Brenda, on the first time we took our inflatable raft out in the middle of the lake, catching a big bullhead catfish, and she was so proud of it. She pulled it in on her own, and it made the little fins made a hole inside the raft, and we had to race back to the shore because it was leaking air. And those are just fond memories that we have. I brought my buddy Archie and his kids up here for the first time, and they had a blast. The fond memories of a kid float tubing. This is where I learned to float tube. This is where I learned to fly fish. This is where I learned to lure fish. This is where I caught my first bass, my first bluegill, my first trout. And to watch it like this is very heartbreaking to me.
Smash that like button so that way the YouTube algorithm will spread this to others so they can get this information. And leave a comment and a shout out to all those volunteers helping get this lake halfway back to normal. Part of me is very selfish that I want to rescue this lake because of the memories that I've built, because it's somewhere that I hope that my children can bring theirs, that one day I can bring my grandchildren to this spot. And maybe it's just the nostalgia in me, but we gotta do it. Hashtag Save Jenks Lake. In the top right-hand corner of this video, you will see more information on the Save Jenks Lake project.